Hello and welcome to the second part of Saturday 2024 E4. I'm joined by the incredible Millie. Have I already done it wrong, Millie?
No, you haven't. No, you're doing
okay.
You're doing great, sweetie.
I'm on it. I've got this, guys. I immediately had it. Before we began, I'm just going to immediately derail Millie, so deal with it. As soon as before we began, I was like, who's going to begin this one? It's like, it's your turn, Ian. And I was like, well, we're fucked. So let's go. But no,
we don't have a bung this week. He's feeling unwell, bless him. So
yeah, get well, bung.
Yeah, well, I don't think he doesn't listen to the podcast, Ian.
Does he not? Filth.
Everybody go and talk to him and get him to listen to this episode.
Yeah, that's it. Outrageous display. Outrageous. Okay.
Yeah. So where we left off on the last episode was
previously on
Larp Noobs. Agnes dead.
Wow. Wow, can you imagine if it was like that?
God. Like, could you imagine? Like, what a spoiler to be in. Like, because I noticed that, like, something I used to watch Stargate SG1. Now it's my turn to derail the podcast.
Okay, let's do
You're
this.
welcome.
Yeah,
and some people that listen to this podcast might think that Stargate SG1 it's just a lot of people wearing camo in the future. It's not. It's better than that. But you always knew what the episode's enemy was going to be based on the recap that they showed you.
Right. Okay.
Because if you had a Goa'uld, then don't
Goa'uld?
wasn't it called the Goa'uld? There was the
that's
snake people that lived in
the
and then you had the replicators. God, this is showing my knowledge. But yeah, so if you had a little episode recap with those enemies, then you were like, well, that's who we're going to see in this episode. It took all of the spoilers out. Anyway, on with it. So previously on Larp Noobs, Agni's dead. Talus is traumatized. And Gwydion's probably in the Dreadshields camp having a lovely time.
He is. He's having a great time. The Gwydion life, by the way, is the good life. It's not like filled with pits of despair.
It's so good, but very height restricted because of his huge antlers.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, he was just, yeah. I think because I'm used to just like whacking my head on all kinds of things. I'm going to derail again. I went to Chroma and we stayed in this holiday cottage, and all the doors are just at that height, which is just like, I don't know, like an inch sort of like smaller than where the top of my head is, which is like just this invisible level of just like, I'm inevitably going to brain myself here. Yeah. And I did. Yeah. But anyway.
But on with the Saturday, where we left off was Agnes just had her execution, and I have changed into my temporary character Kit. And the reason why I had a temporary character was because I had a very intense Saturday and Friday. So I wanted a little bit of a throwaway character. And here enters Cruella.
I gotta say, for a throwaway bit of like character, the Kit was like legit. I thought,
that's
my something you popped together pretty quick. I think it was pretty good.
Thank you. It was my Curious Pastimes kit, which is unironically red and black. But so it was perfect, really. But the reason why she was called Cruella was because I couldn't get rid of the white in my eyelashes, so I had black and white eyelashes.
Amazing.
But yeah, so what were you up to? Because you sort of headed out, didn't you, from camp?
Yeah. So I kind of needed like some space, and then the mass deaths and grief and other things started coming in. So, and this has been happening. Like, bear in mind, we've been sort of focusing on little Ashbourne stories here, but a backdrop of this is like loads of people have been dying, like left and right at different points, and like
from the Friday as well. Like we had the Plague Wall skirmish, and then Saturday was a lot of people died on the battlefield.
It was a lot, yeah. I mean, Saturday was a really like a pretty bad one, like in terms of deaths, and then we'll get to Sunday when we get there. But Have I got that the wrong way around? Actually, was Sunday worse than Saturday?
Oh, Sunday was much worse than Saturday.
It was.
Whoa.
It got pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was loads and loads of deaths, and I've kind of taken on as Talis like a big part of my game. I try and dedicate a good portion of one of the nights to essentially pinging around and getting vibe checking with the different sort of big camps and people I know. I'm trying to essentially, put a face to a name and slowly increase my sort of presence, I suppose. But part of that is I know a fair few people, and it's slowly kind of evolved in a way where like Talis has become somebody who can be there when people are grieving.
Yeah.
Because he's seen a lot of death and grief himself, and the Ashbourne words, and like the kind of the original kind of concept behind the Ashbourne was very kind of like, well, from ashes we rise, from sorrows we grow, like very much like it's about dealing with loss.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and because Talis is quite intrinsic into he's like very much where that comes from.
Yeah.
That's kind of like very much his kind of way of thinking and dealing with things, and that kind of expanded out. So it's like I spent a lot of time walking around and talking to people and going to a lot of funerals. Yeah. I think, oh my gosh, it's. I think during the course of the whole event, I think I spoke at 35 funerals.
That's mental.
Which is crazy.
It's just
crazy. I mean, some of these are like back to back funerals as well.
Oh my god. They were like queuing up, being like, Talis, you have to say something.
No, I mean, like, I really love it, actually.
Yeah.
I was really tired. I think, like, when we get to Sunday, we'll get there. I was really knackered at the end of Sunday, but in a good way.
Yeah, I was going to say, that must take quite a toll on your energy reserves. Because, like...
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I kind of really, like... I kind of enjoy it in a sense, right? Because you actually, like, we turn up there to roleplay as these characters and emote and, go on journeys together.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough, and I think that we both have this to a degree as well, where we can kind of, there's a dissociation that we can have with the characters. And there is bleed, of course, like, and that does happen. But I'm quite lucky at the stage I'm at, where it's like, I'm kind of aware of where Talis is and where Ian is, and there's not so much of an issue like that anymore. The energy levels that it is to be Talis sometimes, when I'm like super bouncy and all that kind of stuff, that is tiring. But actually, when Talis is quite kind of like serious, it's tiring in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good fun. I mean, one of the big ones was speaking at Otis's funeral. By which, when I say speak, I'm not like exactly like the main person speaking. I'm just like a person who says some things.
Yeah.
In all these different situations. But Otis was a really good like friend of the Striding. We all knew him. So it was really nice to kind of go into the Corpse Glade and sort of say some words there. I have like I try and like deal with things quite seriously. Like for Talis, like death is pretty serious.
Yeah.
And he deals with it in terms of like growth and things like that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like, but it's pretty heavy stuff. It was emotional to do for sure, and I enjoy getting emotional as well.
Yeah, it's good fun. I really enjoy a good bit of emotional roleplay, but I think like I don't have the stamina you have. I could not have done as much as you did at E4.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think this was tippy top limits.
Yeah,
but I'm also really lucky. Bear in mind, I have people like you. I've got people like Bung. I've got people like Captain Keelia and stuff like that, and they're all like checking in on me, and like I get loads of people who just like it's amazing like positive vibes. Like my little chaos crew, it's like we just they give me such like positive vibes all the time. And it's like that is like suddenly like a whoop, the energy levels go up again, right?
Nice.
And it's like Like and you're really good at making sure that like I'm actually like eating and doing all the things.
Oh yeah, and
'Cause I'm
hydrating.
pretty bad at like looking after myself.
One of my favorite interactions that we've ever had was at our first ever flying lead, when I found Jasper in the corner of the bar just like chowing down on some cheesy crackers, and I was like, Ian, have you eaten today? And you went, no. I was like, you were so drunk. And I was like, would you like to eat? And you were like, yeah.
I would like the food. And the thing is that like I bring loads of food for other people. I just never really eat it myself.
Yeah. It's also quite like when you get really like excited and things like that, and like I'm kind of the person when you want the instant food, like the hot food that you can have really fucking quickly. But sometimes you just don't have it, and like having the energy to sit by a gas heater and then be like, I'm just going to stare at this for 10 minutes while it heats up. It's a bit ridiculous.
You're much more like practically minded and capable and competent than me. I am it's a miracle I managed to get from A to B.
A little bit.
A to C without whacking my head on B anyway.
I love it so much though. It's like where did Tallis go 3 hours ago? Oh, he went to the market to go and get something. Oh, he's not at the market even though it's right next to our camp. Yeah, it's because on the way to the market, he got distracted, went to Senate, up to the League, down to the marches.
You've had this kind of vision of getting little cat trackers on us, haven't you?
Oh my God, I genuinely want this to happen. Like I really do. I found some small ones that are designed to go on cat collars. I've also got one of my friends has car trackers, which are quite small. Ooh. And it's like is it something that you guys, as in the dear listeners at home, would be interested in? Because I am fascinated by the whole data side of like activity at LARP.
Of where we've gone.
Right? It needs to happen. And they're relatively cheap. So if we wait, but at the long dark, save up all that Patreon money, we might be able to afford one. It'll be fine. Crowdfund it.
Yeah, we get
it's
one.
It's gonna happen. Did do you remember on the earlier in the Saturday where Agni was getting questioned by the militia, and then they were like, "Oh, we need to talk to Tallis."
Yeah.
What happened there?
Okay, so this is later on. Neme, who is like a part of the Chaos Crew, my little trio of we're just a little anarchy little bubble.
Yeah.
But I just bumped into her. It's like, oh, I'm not heading off to the magistrate. She's like, oh, I'll come and join you. I was like, well, at your risk. I've no idea what's going on, because it was like, as you say, we were there for your execution, and then like, oh, we'd like to speak to you.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
And I was like, what? Okay, so we head over there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say all the things. But this is very much you only know if you know, okay, dear listener. All right.
Anybody caught metagaming will get very heavily finger wagged at. Rude.
So, there was a character called Sigismund, who is a good friend of ours, who was investigating many things: corruption in the bourse, corruption in the militia. I'm just going to say it all. The Black Lotus Society.
Oh my God, it's all coming out.
All the poisoners, and all the things. The death of Spiteful Jack, everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Loads of stuff.
I don't believe you that Sigismund actually had any kind of work going on. Like, I never saw that man working at all.
Well, so there was some documents that he had me decode. So this was my element of it. So I was the decoder for the investigation, because there were coded messages that were sent. So I was the person who was decoding it all.
Oh my God.
And we were all separate cells, everybody who's working on this, because Sigismund's fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
like amazing
I
role
miss
play
him a lot.
from Chris, just like incredible, like amazing person to play with. So he had us all working in separate cells, and none of us communicated. But it has slowly, over time, I've become aware that various people have been dying, and all of these people are basically other members, other cells in the investigation. I don't know, but I think I'm working under the opinion right now that I am the last remaining member of said group.
Oh no! Oh
So
God!
I turn up and the magistrate just starts. He says, like, we have all of these reports of you running off from these murders with bloody boss notes. And all this kind of stuff.
God.
And I'm like, and then he's like, but don't worry, we know this isn't true because you have been identified very clearly as being at said like parties at different times, which is very good. I feel very vindicated now for my party lifestyle. By the way,
it's all that dancing on tables in Highguard. It gets you noticed.
Yeah, literally. Like no joke. Like stuff like that was like you were spotted here at this time doing this, so we know you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway. And the crazy thing about this is I have given no real thought to this since like Gellert's death, to be honest with you, because that's basically when all connection with the investigation I had kind of ended. I know a few things, and I won't say that here, but at this stage I'd kind of like I don't have the facility to put all the bits together or the desire at this stage. Actually, it's more the desire to put all the bits together.
Yeah, it's so very much like semi-live game.
Yeah, semi-live game. But like, obviously, for some people, evidently, this is extremely live or extremely dead.
Yeah.
And I may be soon on the extremely dead category.
God.
It was so funny having this guy start listing off all of these names, and I was just like, okay. And it was like each time I'd be like, and this is all I know. And he's like, so what do you know about this? And I was like, okay. And then I'd be like, stepping further and further and further aside to make sure we couldn't be heard, because it's like I don't want to be and we talk about this group of like alchemists who I know about. It's not good.
I love it so much. I love the idea because like what the militia officers are missing, in my honest opinion, is an interrogation cell. Like that's all you need at Empire. It makes it so much easier. And like I love the idea that you start right at the entrance of the militia officers, where you're kind of there like, yes, I know. Don't worry, Mr. Militia Officer. I know, or Mrs. Militia, or person. I have no knowledge of these murders. I know the people who were murdered. Like blah blah blah. The evidence I don't know about. And then suddenly it goes. And then you take a step back, and then you end up probably halfway down the Brass Coast trying not to be overheard. It's like...
Oh my god! When it started being about like the Hall of Seven Mirrors and all the oh my gosh,
I am not even going to ask.
Yeah, it got like pretty crazy, and I was like, okay, listen,
oh my god, I love the idea that Talus is at the center of this like incredible crime syndicate, and he has no idea. He's
like
just
I genuinely have no idea as well. Like I am absolutely clueless. This is the hilarious bit. I feel like like Jacques Clouseau is like an absolute moron, and
oh my god,
and is like Pink Panthering his way around, and he actually has no idea what's going on, but everyone assumes that he knows what's going on. Yeah, I am that guy.
I love. Sigismund, I've just decoded this message for you. Here you are. What? Can I ask, what does the word murder mean? Oh, Talus, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, the messages were really interesting. Like there was a couple of rounds of this kind of stuff. It was various people and lists of false virtues and cults and things like that. It was interesting. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
But basically, that was fun. It was really hilarious.
It must be such fun game though.
It was suddenly like this thing that really hasn't been a thing for like a year.
Yeah.
Right? Like not seriously. It was suddenly like, oh no. Like this aspect of my game that I had completely put on the back burner is suddenly like live. And that's the cool thing about having characters that are long running, and the soap opera of Empire is it enables that kind of game to be, right?
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden it's like, aha, I'm your long lost brother and blah blah blah, and now that the equivalent, the Larp equivalent of that, right? Which is it's like, amazing. Oh no, this plot line that we all thought was dead is actually like gonna get you killed. Like that's gonna be the thing.
It's,
right?
what is one little militia officer working on a cold case in the back of
Yeah.
Anvil.
Oh, hats off actually to the militia officers who were investigating something related to that on the Friday night. They were two new players, and they were just really, really lovely,
Really?
and they were investigating, and it was. I think that's where I might have slightly done myself
Yeah.
because I was like, new players, let's give them something a little bit. So I sort of dropped a couple of names of things, and I was
You
go
kind of
and
have
ask
to
questions
though.
about these things.
But like it made so much good game for you and them, right? It's so
Yeah,
fun.
it's
I
fun.
I if I had the attention span to be a militia officer, I would do it. Like I tried it for a summit and I got lost instantly, but I might try it again. Who knows?
Yeah, I kind of like so. I have a general and I'm probably wrong about this, dear listener, but I have a general ethos with like crime and secrets and monopolies and all of these things. I think that the purpose of them existing is for them to fail, or to be discovered, or to be defeated, or not necessarily even defeated, but to basically be challenged.
Yeah.
I find the idea of like a secret that, like, if your secret has not been found in a certain amount of time in a social kind of game, it's a bit crap.
Yeah.
If your kind of monopoly hasn't like been challenged or tilted or in some way after a certain number of seasons, it's a bit shit. If like your crime is not in any way being investigated, or you know what I mean, and I think like I'm probably wrong about all this, but that's just like how I like to play. Is like you don't have to play like entirely optimally, and I think sometimes like, you know, what if you left a calling card? Wouldn't that be fun? You know. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it.
While all of this was going on, I was breaking typecasting traditions as I became scribe to the Prince of the Crimson Reapers.
I don't want to be a scribe anymore. Immediately signs up. Immediately.
I had to give it to Joe.
Outrageous.
There are some elements of LARP existence that just need a little bit of organizing. And I'll be honest, I was a shit scribe for the Prince of the Crimson Reapers because I gave up after about 20 minutes. There was a lot of talking and I was not. I think
I think what really worked with like you and Dave when you were scribing there is because you're really good at like organizing people, like moving, like saying we need to be here at this time to do this thing to interact, and you have like quite a good like active organization rather than like I'm gonna dictate everything that was just said in that last conversation.
And I think as well, like Dave and I, like Dave started as ambassador for Yarm when I started being his scribe, so we kind of grew and developed that teamwork together. With Joe, he had no expectation of me being his scribe at all. It was very much a case of, you want to be a Crimson Reaper? Cool. I need a scribe. Let's do this. But Joe is insane anyway. Like, he's incredible as the Prince of the Crimson Reapers. And he's proxy to the Senator of Spiral. So he's already all over everything. And I knew nothing about leaguish politics, nothing about the current state. Because despite everything, I still haven't caught up with the whole situation in the Empire.
It's a lot, though.
It's a lot.
Like keeping up with what's going on in the world of the Empire is a lot.
And it all changes. It changes so quickly, and everybody has different versions of it.
Yeah, and then when you get yourself, if you're in a situation where you sit down with a certain group of people, it becomes very clear that you are the dumbass. And it's like, I cannot engage with this conversation at your level. And it's like, which is strange, because what I would say is, actually, in a lot of instances in Empire, you can have a very sound-ish opinion on things, based on relatively limited information.
Mm.
But when people start going off in the weeds on certain things, it can be very easy to be intimidated by your lack of knowledge, because some people really are like at one. They have like neoed with the wiki.
Yeah.
And like that ain't me, Chief.
No, and I think as well, because the senator for Spiral and Radek have such a close relationship, being a third party, I was like, I'm just intruding on your game. But it was like, they didn't make me feel like that.
Oh no,
that was purely like
I think these are internal
Millie
thoughts,
imposing
right?
it. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I get this all the time. If I go like you hang out with some people who are obviously heavy into the military game or heavily into the priest game or something, and they're talking about what's going on in Synod. Like, obviously, you've got no idea, right? Like, unless you fly in those circles.
Yeah, but it was also a nice way for. Admittedly, it was a throwaway character, so it was a bit of a waste of an introduction, but it was a nice way for me to get reintroduced to a lot of the senators. And it also, poor little Daniel, I was in the hub. At near God, and not near God. I was in the hub, full stop. And Daniel, who was one of our greatest listeners, he went into the hub, and I was stood by the motions board, and I saw him do a double take. And admittedly, I was like, I'm just going to stand here. All it was like was, I think that's how he realized Agni was dead.
Oh,
because all I heard was, oh, I thought that was one of my dear friends. And then he just walked off back to the hospital, and I was like, oh, Daniel, oh, my boy. My sweet innocent child, I'm so sorry.
What was it like walking around? Like, because obviously this isn't something I've done before. Like,
oh yeah, because Talis is your first.
Yeah, I've never actually had to. I feel like Kirk when he's told that he cheated his way through the Kobayashi Maru, and thus he has never faced death.
It was actually really fun, because you got to play a little game with all of your friends. So a lot of people didn't know that Agni was dead. Didn't know the plans that I had. A lot of people had heard the commotion and heard rumors about the whole execution and everything, but they didn't know who it was that had done it.
Yeah.
They just knew it was a Navari. So a lot of the time, the first thing people noticed was that my antlers were gone. It was like, and then they were like, oh, do I know you? I was like, yeah, my name's Corella. I'm a Crimson Reaper. I came here to, and the whole thing was like, I came here to investigate the prince's murder, but I came too late, effectively. And they were like, oh, that was Agni? And I was like, yes, it was. And it was really good fun. And it was also nice to restart the whole Millie Reapers relationship as well, because like I got to be friendly this time, which was really nice. But yeah, it was fun. I liked it, and it was nice going around like a little shadow, because obviously I had no game with my character. I was just there to have a good time and relax, and it was just really nice. Plus I got to follow Joe around and see what ridiculous things he gets up to.
Oh, Joe's fantastic, just lovely guy.
He's so wonderful.
Generally just like beautiful human being. But
so right, and a glorious beard, but we won't talk about that.
I mean, like, I felt kind of bad because when you came up to me, obviously you're a Reaper, and obviously you're you. And like,
oh my god, you must have been so conflicted.
I was like, and I felt like I didn't want to be like friendly because like there's no reason for us necessarily to be friendly. Although Talis is also friendly with everyone, so it's like, oh, welcome to Navarre, blah blah blah. And then you said you're a Reaper, and I was like, oh. And it's like, not that Talis actually really holds anything against the Reapers, but it's like it doesn't feel right to be just like so whimsical about it. I was just like, oh, so I had a very brief conversation with you, I would say. I felt a little bit rude, but it felt right, because I was also like, for myself, I was like, I kind of don't want to see you. Like, I want like that distance, so my friend is gone, and that helps me play that out a bit easier in my head, because it's suddenly a bit weird to see you as this different character.
Yeah. It's also like my character also died at Bastion,
Mm.
thanks to a Mr. Will.
Mm.
But yeah, so and I deliberately stayed away from everyone. Like I went and crewed for a little bit because it helps like everything like sink in. And I think in LARP it can be really jarring, like you said. To be like, my best friend has died, but her identical twin sister is here. It's like, I do get it. It's pretty difficult.
I felt like I was. We never got to talk about it actually, but I did feel like I was maybe a little bit brisk with you. For
Oh, I
Talis
didn't.
or
I
something.
did
Okay,
not
that's okay.
notice.
All right, that's okay because I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I've got to go and do some things. And
but you're also incredibly busy at LARP, so
I was
I
very
did not
busy.
take it personally at all.
I think you came across me actually as I was carrying a table for the
I think it
Thorns
was
Cup.
Thorns Cup.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I was getting the stuff ready for the Thorns Cup. Which
Yeah.
this was really sad as well. Normally you tend to give me a bit of a hand with the Thorns Cup because you notice that I'm running around.
Yeah.
I was like, my friend used to help me.
Oh. I'm sure that if you pay Claudia, she'll come and do it. But so did you host Thorns Cup? Because I remember it was a bit up in the air.
Yeah, I decided I wouldn't. And even though actually, because there was originally going to be a dance on that we were going to go to with Matty, and that was going to take place at the same time as Thorns Cup. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen, and none of us ended up going. Well, obviously, in your case, you were dead, so there was no chance of you going. But it didn't really seem to happen at the same time in the same way. But also, I dropped off all my cupcakes and I did all the things and popped them and the drinks and all the stuff there. And I said to Seth, he was really good about it. I was like, as Talis, like, I think I maybe need to like not host it this time, because Talis needed a little bit of space because it is actually still quite soon after you have died.
Yeah.
So
but also, I think you do too much for Navarre. Like at E2, E3, you were like running around like a headless chicken, and I was like, oh, poor Ian. Like I know you were loving it, but I was like, my guy.
Yeah, I did start there was a few things where it's like I was getting pulled into some like it was interesting with like to touch on this, like Talis as a political entity is an interesting aspect of all of this as well. Like the conflict, like where the soft power is starting to come in, and I think people are starting to notice, and this sounds a bit tooty own horny kind of stuff, but like there is a degree of power that it is to be Talis, and if I ever chose to, I could use it. And I was like, but I'm not in the headspace to even engage with that now. But I kind of become a bit more aware that maybe there was more than what I was doing that I was capable of, which is exciting for the character, exciting for what my possibilities are. But I was like,
it means you've got to be more selective, right?
Yeah, I needed just to be like. So I still went in the crowd at the Thorns Cup, and I still cheered it along and saw people do the things and stuff, but I just took a back seat and was very separate from it, and actually just watched it as a member of the crowd. I had a fucking great time.
They're great. I love watching the Thorns go because it's like a big fighting tournament, right? And then you win you win a really cool trophy that gets your name on it as well.
Yeah, there's a sword that Seth's made. This is Seth Blackhawk, and it's like your name gets put on it, and you get like there's a prize pool. Basically, everyone chucks in some. I think it's 5 ring entry. I think winner takes all. Or he started taking like a slight cut out of it because obviously it's a lot of work to organise it all and stuff. But the prize pool's pretty reasonable, and it's a lot of fun. It's also run. Very much like a HEMA tournament, so it's a little bit like the blurring is a bit more towards it's a game rather than it's like a strictly like there's no calls and things like that involved in it, right? You are playing a game, which is good fun. I think it's actually like it does enough to stay in role play and that kind of stuff, because you'll get this thing where somebody like will suddenly just be like, "Let's knife fight." And stuff like that, and it's very Navari in that sense. but it's also, it gives all of those people, because there are obviously people on the field who are legitimately good with swords and various weapons. I think it gives a really nice environment for them to actually do that, you know?
Yeah.
Engage in a more serious bit of swordplay. And it lets, I think it's good because it gives people space to do that, and then they don't have to necessarily, then they can embrace the more cinematic combat style. Hopefully that sort of washes out all the need for that, and then you can go and do the cinematic combat style stuff in the field, you know, in the setting where you should do it. You know, so I think it's really good, and Seth runs it fantastically. It's a lot of work, by the way, to run anything like that.
And also get the people involved and stuff. Like it's a lot of footwork. It's a lot of talking to people.
It is, getting people signed up, like doing. I mean, bear in mind, I always have, even though you say I do a lot, I tend to. I'm very selective about the types of jobs I take on, and they're normally not the jobs that involve getting like super large amounts of organization, because that's where the work really comes in, right? Like this, for example, the type of work that Demelza does for the fashion show is 10x what I do in the fashion show. Yeah. Right. What I do in the fashion show.
Oh my God, incredible.
Is like I supply some food and some bubbles and some drink and stuff, which is all very generous and nice, I'm sure. But like what she does is she runs around and gets all the names of all the people who are taking place, gets them all in like an order, gets everything actually arranged, makes sure everybody turns up and does the thing, does all the introductions for the people, and actually has to like write it all down. Like incredible, like stuff that I would not do. You know, so
I love Demelza. I'm so excited for the fashion show at E1. Woohoo!
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
While Thorn's Cup was going on, I was in Senate.
Ooh. And how was it?
Back to Senate with Radic. It was the best Senate session that I have ever been to at Anvil. And do you want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
It's because 2 minutes into it, we got a lovely time freeze.
Really? How come?
Yeah. So effectively, Senate had been cursed. And I don't know, it'd been cursed by somebody. I'm not going to say who, because I don't know how live the game is, because it's not my game. But we got a time freeze. We got told what our PFX were. And then because the Emperor was there, it very quickly became a very spicy. So about 5 minutes into Senate, it was curtailed, and Senate was abandoned.
Wow.
So that was the best Senate session that I've ever had to scribe for, because all I had to do was watch Esme dressed as a goose. I think it was a goose or a chicken. And I think that they were dressed as that because it was sale.
Okay.
I'm not really too sure. Either that or it's just an incredible costume. It was a very strange Senate session, and we'll leave it. But yeah, so we did Senate session. That got curtailed. So we ran back to the Reapers camp and we watched this incredible play, which was put on. There were lots of plays going on in the league that night, because I think you were at one as well.
I went to one of the Jackdaws camp with the Clattering Curtain. And
oh my God, I want to go watch one of theirs so bad.
It's so good. But the one I saw was amazing. It was like about somebody going for Senate. But they were like, what do you call them in the...
A kookaburra?
A kookaburra going to be in Senate. And it was like all about how that obviously would never happen and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was great. And they did all this kind of like asides to the voters. Yeah, and it was like amazing, like constant, like, you know, breaking of, like pulling in of those kind of that we all understand, but kind of viewing it how we watch a TV show, but we're viewing it on stage live.
So kind of like fourth wall breaks.
Yeah,
right?
Really fun fourth wall breaks.
God.
It was great. They're always so well written. And then at the end, just to really rapidly speed through, so we can get to your play, because I want to know about your play.
I want to look. I'd go into detail with this one, because this is a good play.
At the end of it, though, the person who had commissioned it, or was linked to who it was commissioned to, or that it was about, basically who this play was about, who I didn't know. I know them visually, but not well enough to for anything else. But there was a proposal. There was a wedding proposal.
Oh my.
from Murdoch, which caught me completely off guard.
Yeah.
It was like, oh wow, okay, it was amazing. So our good friend Oily plays a character called Murdoch, and yeah, just suddenly at the end of this play, they would propose this person. I was like, wow, okay, amazing. And that was like awesome celebration. It was like a really cool vibe to end this play on. It was incredible. While I was there, I also because I turned up late, typical. Oh, you've always got to be fashionably late, blowing bubbles. And I found Xandros, who's played by the amazing Angus, who was sitting on a chair, and he offered it up to me very graciously. I think he saw that I was pretty tired at that stage.
Yeah, your bones are weary.
And he was like, it was very much like, age before beauty, and I was like, I will take that. I did indeed indulge in the seat, so thank you so much, Angus. I can't even tell you how much that was appreciated. But it was a wonderful play. Really, really good.
I love theatre within the league. And like, this isn't to say that other nations can't do theatre, because like the Brass Coast has some incredible theatre companies, like and their ritual. Do you know I've never been to a Varushkan play? I think I might go at E1. I'm just going to try and go to as much theatre as possible because I love it.
You could be a theatre reviewer.
Oh,
like some
I
kind
could
of like
be.
You know what I mean? Like your whole paper is just like show reviews.
Oh my god, yes! Yeah. Oh my god, yes.
I thought the acting was wooden, just like.
But Claudia, it was a puppet show. It was wooden. Yeah, I think it's just so good. And the play that I had was I loved it. I love it when you have like inside stories within your group. So within the Reaper camp, it was a story of two Carters. It was the Reapers and another one, which I cannot remember. It wasn't the Seawolves, but it was someone else. Like the Spark Carter. They wear blue and gold kit. Very coordinating kit.
Sure.
Very cool. And it was really funny. It was such a good play. It was basically about two Carters, how they meet, business transactions. There was lots of prams, toys being thrown out of prams, and it was just very good. And it's always really nice watching people have stories told about them. Like it's probably the most similar experience that I've had where you've been there was when we did the Rock the Brock play.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Which is so good. But watching you and Tom from Larps and Tarps, very good podcast.
Amazing.
Having this story told about you and how people portray you, it's so funny and so good. And like watching you guys like light up when you're like, I said that. It's so good. So yeah, I had a lovely time watching my little theatre thing. And then I think after that I did something at 7:30, but did you do anything else before 7:30?
I went I was like after seeing the play and doing the Fawns Cup and doing all that kind of stuff, and I think I had some intersperse everything I'm saying with. I'm not going to go through them all, and no offense to all the people involved, but I'm not going to go through all the I went to funeral. Which were all I like. Also because a lot of these are like they're quite kind of small find out and play kind of things, like how I know them all. But lovely groups and really touching. But I was like, I need to get myself some food. So I heard a little inner Millie in my head that was saying, you need to get yourself some foodie, and you are starting to run out of calories.
You go juice.
So I went off to the OC area, and I just had a really nice chat. The two friends of Captain Keeler, who's my wonderful PR agent, kind of came and sat down, and we just had like a chat, just these two guys and me, and then some other people came and sat with me. They invited me over to their table and stuff, and we just had a really nice OC chat about like just LARP. And it's like sometimes it's quite nice just to have that space of just like, because especially when you're talking to new people and they're like, oh, I'm maybe sort of struggling a little bit to find my place in the game, and then you can share your experiences of You know,
Yeah.
like, believe me, like all those things, like 100%.
I love that big tent with the seating area in the OC area, because firstly it's undercover, so it's a nice little shelter.
Yeah.
It's also, it acts as a little rest stop where you know that you can be out of character and you're like totally fine. Like, that's not to say that there's not a place in the icy area where you can be out of character. There's lots of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's nice having that designated area where you're like, I can sit down, I can chill out, and I can just chat with my mates. Like, we go there a lot.
We had a lovely time, you and me, on, it was on Friday, wasn't it? Just after they set off the battle. No, on Saturday morning, after everyone set off the battle, you and me went and had like a really nice like milkshake and chill out in the OC area. I think what I like it as well is, to be honest with you, when I'm in the game, I want to be in the game. And I want to be role-playing as Tellus all the time. Like, and to be honest with you, when I'm kind of not really role-playing as Tellus, I'm kind of like not enjoying it as much, because that's what I kind of come to do. So I kind of like having that physical separation where I go somewhere else and I'm like, in this space, I'm not Tellus, right? I can just sit and have a milkshake with my good mate Millie, and we can have a chat, or with some lovely people who are friends of friends, and we can talk about, you know, big concept LARP stuff and like, you know, all those kind of things. And it was just really nice. Just had a really nice kind of like, it's funny being a bit of an old hand, to be honest with you, Millie. And by the way, I'm really not like you, for example, and Dave, for example, and many of our other friends. And other podcasts do exist as well, and many of the people who go there, I would say all of you have a lot more experience now in some ways than I do, because really all I do is go to Empire, and I've gone to Flying Lead.
You sell yourself far too short, my dear friend.
Well, but you know what I mean, like in terms of actual game experience, like
like exposure to different systems.
I haven't done as much as you guys have. But at the same time, even having said all of that, like there is something that it is to have gone for a few years, especially to Empire, and be able to talk to other people and be like, that's okay. Like, you know, this is very natural, and like, like, what are you enjoying? Often that's really what it is. Like, what are you actually enjoying, and what are you not enjoying, and then how can we get you doing more of the things you enjoy? Yeah,
and you yourself are a very intuitive player anyway, so you can kind of figure out people's needs and emotional well-being quite easily.
Hopefully.
I think so. Hopefully. I think you're very good at
it. I try and be like, I actually really enjoy like engaging with new players, because there's so much excitement about like seeing, and then the cool thing, I mean, this is why I'm always broke, because I give a bit of money away to new players all the time, but I generally have this kind of whole thing of like, if I can set people about doing things, then often they'll come back and tell me that they did the thing, and it's like, well, that's really exciting, right? Like, I mean, like, lots of really established people don't come along and tell me that they've done the thing, because they're always doing like this thing or that thing or whatever. But it's just like, also now it's like, wow, okay, that's really awesome. Like, I love seeing people just go and kick ass, because to be honest with you, I'm kind of doing my thing, but Talis is actually kicking a surprisingly little amount of ass. He's basically just swinging around with a coconut cup, and then occasionally people run up.
Yeah, but that's so good. Do not belittle swanning around with a coconut cup.
But obviously it pays off.
I love it.
No, it's great. I have a wonderful time.
It's good. Yeah. Well, while you were having a nice little relax and being a wonderful all-round human being, I was going on a skirmish.
Amazing, dude. I'm so pleased you did this, by the way.
Mate, it was night. Let me set the scene again, dear listener. It's night, like a Millie of the future. Let's edit in some like night bits, maybe
owls.
Some like put an owl. Okay, right, owl in here. There we go. Cool. Well done, Millie. You're great at this. So it's dark. The sun has set over the beautiful Anvil Hills. It was actually a really good sunset as well. So the light, impeccable.
Anvil, I think, actually looked really good. Just as a really quick aside, like loads of people have done some great jobs with their tent setups and stuff. And I know Senate wasn't up and running and stuff, but like generally speaking, just like the way people have made it Anvil look is like chef's kiss.
It's so good.
Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, so it's dark, and at 9:30, Ricardo, incredible human being, maker of fine jewelry, comes up to the Reapers camp and goes, "We've got a skirmish at 7:30. Who's going?" And most of the OG Reapers are either at Wassail or they're just tired. It'd been a very busy day for the Reapers. So Ella, who is in naught but a dress, no armors, no weapon, no nothing.
Amazing.
She goes, "I'll go."
Incredible.
And they go, "Oh, it's against Siaka Heralds." I was like, "I'm sure the Reapers are fine. Nothing bad ever happened to the Reapers and Siaka Heralds. Like, nothing bad has ever happened against Siaka Heralds, dear listener." And what happened next was like a little Tony Stark getting assembled into the Iron Man like suit for the first time.
Yeah.
As Ellie and Andy dressed me in all of the armor that they had.
Oh, amazing.
So it wasn't all of the armor.
Yeah.
I do over exaggerate, but they put some chain on me.
Oh.
I had little like shin pad greaves, and I had a shield, and I had a sword, and I was having a lovely time.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
I had a little stim out with the chain because I'd never worn chain before. Oh my god, it's so good. I felt so powerful.
If you've got people to help you as well, they can help you cinch it correctly and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, and like I always get so nervous around getting girded or whatever for battle because I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I doing it? But having Ellie and Andy to do it for me and be like, yeah, I looked so ridiculous, but it was dark, so nobody cared. Dude. I did not.
You always look incredible. What are you saying?
Oh, well, thank you. Like, I definitely did not look good doing a chicken dance up and down the league because it made the chain make a fun noise. And poor Ricardo, like, you could tell, like, Ricardo is this seasoned, like, grizzly sailor, right? He would have looked at Ella, giggling with glee as she ran down to the Sentinel Gate and just gone, "We're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, lads."
Men like that are meant to be broken with good humour.
Oh my god, it was honestly, I love him so much. But yeah, so we went to the Sentinel Gate. You could see nothing, no identifying features of any of the other people on the skirmish. And we went through the Sentinel Gate, and it very quickly, we were just out on the big field, and we had been briefed a little bit, and there'd been ideas for call signs and things like that. Right. So like identifying things like, an call answer system to make sure that, because we'd heard rumors that the enemy were infiltrating Imperial lines, pretending to be Imperials.
Oh, amazing.
And then attacking them from the back, basically. So we had the idea that we were going to do a call repeat system. That didn't necessarily get implemented. So very quickly, as soon as we got through the gate, the lines we had vanished. It became very chaotic, which it's a night skirmish. Is always going to be slightly chaotic. And we had a little bit of a scrap in the field. And then very quickly, when it got so chaotic, I got grabbed in the back of the armor by Ricardo and yanked very firmly back through the Sentinel Gate.
Oh, amazing.
It was the world's shortest skirmish, but I feel like I've popped my skirmish cherry now. I can leave it behind.
It's great. Like I kind of I've been a bit too kind of low energy and fitness probably to do a bunch of skirmishes, but they are really good. Like I'd say skirmishing is often like
yeah,
really, really
good. I can see why it is so competitive to get on skirmishes, and I understand where everybody's frustration comes from for not getting on them a lot of the time. I was very lucky to get on the skirmish. I think that a lot of skirmish spaces opened up after the high death toll on the Friday and the Saturday. So I was very lucky. Even if it was a short skirmish, it was so exciting to go out to have a bit of a like one-on-one battle situation. And to feel protected because I was wearing armor for the first time. Like, it was really nice. So
did you get to swing Ricardo a sword and hit things?
I did. You
did it. Because I know actually, like, you've always been a little bit worried about actually, like, doing the fighting and hitting people and stuff. So was it nice to
one of
kind
my
of
big thing.
do that?
It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was really fun as well because like after Eldritch, I found new confidence when it comes to getting on the battlefield. So I think it's really good. But yeah, that was my little skirmish. After that, I just sort of I wandered around chilling in Empire, just going drinking for the rest of the evening. I think that was my little thing. What were you up to?
So I head back into the Goose and I meet up with the Chaos crew. And Silver's there, and I'm forgive me for not knowing your name. You're incredible. You're the person who does the tattoos in Navarre are really awesome. Really good at the tattoos, and they did an actual tattoo for the Chaos crew, which is really lovely.
Oh.
So we all took like a little binding with that. It was really nice. I think we're gonna maybe try and do something more ceremonial next time and try and do it like properly because this was very much like a couple of drinks in doing it. It was fun though, like really fun. I got to I'd mentioned like the previous night the sort of the background of the Ashbourne, which actually is quite a sad tale, but I think everyone expected it to be a very jolly tale. But they all like after several drinks, they were like, "Let's tell us of the history of the Ashbourne. This is going to be a good laugh." It was like, "Well,
God.
Here's a downer for you." So it was
because you guys got trapped behind enemy lines.
Yeah,
right?
basic gist is, and like Talis' whole thing in it. So basically, his mum's Urazeni. He's like, and goes off to defend Spiral. Never comes back. Resents her horrendously. Decides he's gonna make his name by going off and join the spy network in Hordaland. Does that.
Oh, little Talis.
Gets cut off behind enemy lines. Forms the Ashbourne out there. Like I went full with my backstory. It was like full emo, no regrets. All the way. Like he gets married and like she dies the next day to a Jotun who shoots her, and that's why he hates Jotun, and that's why I always execute Jotun. And then I've got a book which I write everybody's names down in, and I rip a page out and I burn it when each of you die. And that's a little Talis ritual. But there is one page, really cute little ritual. If you look in this book, there's one page amongst all the rips, which is all folded up and kind of embedded inside. You'll need to find it if you look very carefully. And that's the page with her name on it. Because he's never had the heart to rip it out and burn it.
Talis.
So I told them all about that. And all of that stuff. And then I sang my little Talis Lament song, which I think you've heard before.
I love it so much. It's so beautiful.
So I went through all of that, and that was really cool. It was like, because like, bear in mind, these like really close, good friends, really cool vibes. Songs and Stories is going off not too far in the distance, but I'm singing my song here with, awesome people, and they're all like, I'm not the best singer in the world, right? But like they're kind of helping you do it, and kind of it was really fun to actually sing it properly with good people and really enjoy it. That was really fun. And then we just went round singing songs, drinking drinks. It went into hilarity. The hour had come where I would permit them to sup from the rim of my cup.
Oh,
people
my.
Who have people who know of when such hours begin know that is when the debauchery really kicks up a notch. And it goes,
oh my God.
So I'm like, you may now sup from my rim. It was
Place your lips upon my nutty rim.
It's so hilarious. And it went, the drinks were free flowing. It was great. I was waiting here for the beginning of the Black Scar bar crawl that was supposed to be taking place. I decided I'm going to get started early. So I'm here, Chaos crewing it up, drinking, having a great time. Black Scar turn up. This includes Travid, who has like an awesome piece of RP because he's the senator for Harunin, who is actually now currently not the senator for Harunin because
it's not an imperial.
Not held. But he's my senator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he will always be the senator for Throonan, no matter what.
And he has like a bit of a beef with National Assembly for basically not raising motions in support of Throonan. And he goes and he does some like awesome RP sort of ranting about that. I'm saying rant's probably not the right term, but bringing that point.
Good, like emotional, like fire and brimstone type thing.
Yeah, and that was really cool. But then I started, like, there was this little bit of drama happening on the outside of the goose. I was like, okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. And the Black Scar bar crawl never really transpired. And I was like, I didn't really know why. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit and hang with the Chaos Crew there and we'll have a couple of drinks. So I can't remember why. I think I might have needed to go to the loo, actually, Agni.
Oh my
Millie,
God.
And so I head off to go to the loo, and all of a sudden, Farron, General Farron, my good friend,
newly elected,
literally re-elected that event. It's something like walk and talk, Talis, walk and talk, and like he's there, only being flanked by Tiki, and we're kind of walking along, and he starts like telling me all of this stuff about how. And I'd heard little rumblings about this, but it was like, this can't be true. That he, like, Rizart, who was another good friend from Black Scar, had, with the Empress and other powers, basically been working to revoke his generalship. And
I heard about
move
this,
control of the Quiet Step, which is the... is it the Quiet Step?
The army that Farron...
that he controls into control of the Empress. Because his plan had been to basically move into this territory, whatever. And obviously the fear was if he did that, they would be destroyed. But also, and by the way, to all parties involved, this is Ian's extremely, extremely inaccurate and poor rendition of all of the strategic things going on.
The correct info.
Yeah, if you want the correct info,
find out in play.
Look elsewhere, or I'm sure the Shattersong Diaries will do a much better retelling of all of this.
In about 5 or 6 years' time.
Yeah, in about 5 or 6 years' time. But what's important, really, take all of the strategic stuff aside, Farron is like a son, basically, to Talis. He's like he's my boy, basically. And also, though, Rizart is the guy, when everyone who was questioning Talis's loyalty, Rizart was the guy who incited Talis publicly in front of everybody, and then at the end of it announced that Talis's heart was true Navarre. So like I'm like which was, and he's always been really supportive of Talis. Well, I say that he did actually send me a really after Larkin died, sent me a really interesting letter. But apart from that one time, Rizart has always been really supportive of Talis.
You literally just reminded me of the Monty Python sketch, when they're like, apart from the functioning toilets.
What have the Romans, what have the Rizarts ever done for us? Eh? What have the Rizart dance walkers ever for us, eh? David, what have you ever done? Huh?
Yeah, David, you bastard with the beautiful blue eyes.
God. Oh my God, he's the best.
You tricked us all.
I'm kind of like walking off. Now no longer in need of the loo because I am suddenly like it's like whoop. Okay, all of this is very real.
You've sniffed out real game.
Like real stuff is happening, and I'm literally wandering around with a sloshing coconut cup and trying to find a way to get the straw to like land in my mouth as I'm waddling along.
Amazing.
So we head our way towards Gin Club, basically, in a very long-winded way to try and find Isa, because we are under the impression that actions are going to be taken and there needs to be like a unified decision-y process behind what is going on. And there's drinks at the end of it. So I'm emotionally involved and lubricationally involved as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing while this is going on?
So while this is all going on, I've gone out drinking with the Reapers. I have discovered that without antlers, I can wear hats.
Yes.
So I have a lovely. It's honestly so good. I love it. So I have a lovely time trying on various different Reapers hats because they all have phenomenal headwear. And we make our way down to Dawn. Because Wise Guys is there. A lot of other reputable bars are there. We're having a lovely time. And I find a little... Oh, she's not so little. I find a very impressive Navari crying on a box on the corner of the Glory Square. And I kind of go, strange little Navari creature, what are you doing and what is your name? And they go, I'm Isa.
Oh my gosh. The stories converge.
So I find Isa on the corner of the Glory Square having what can best be described as a mental breakdown. And she starts spewing all of these details, being like, Rizard lied to us. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's this. And like going on. And I'm just there like, Agni would understand this. Ella does not. So
Amazing.
I'm just there trying to be like, there. Who's this Rizard? And what is the quiet step? And why is there oaths? And what's been broken? And I was just there like, oh my god, what the hell is going on in Black Scar?
It got combustible, dude.
It was, yeah, it's gonna get worse.
Oh, it's gonna get worse. 100%.
All very fun and things like that. So I'm just there, and I was like, this is very interesting. And Agni ultra violence brain and Ella ultra calm brain are like fighting it out, because Agni would have gone kill him.
Yeah,
like he's gone against, like, broken the loyalty, kill him. Ella's kind of like, well, might I suggest that if an oath has been broken, potentially you find something of his that can be broken, or maybe, you know, if you are, if there is any way that you can teach him and enlighten him of the way that your heart has been broken this evening, maybe you could do that and take revenge.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, and I was just there being like, am I giving the right kind of advice here? I was like trying to do it in a leaguish kind of way.
So good.
It was really interesting, actually, because like I was like, these two people are total strangers. I like Millie and Matty, not strangers at all. But Ella and Isa have no idea who each other are. So I try and console Isa a little bit. I think I manage it. I stopped them crying. That
so
was.
You filled them with vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. That was the best that I could do.
Good. A bit of false virtue never hurt anyone.
Yeah, I don't know what. Shh, it's fine. Ella's no longer here. No, Ella's can be a heretic because she's no longer here. It's all fine. And after that happens, I go into the Glory Square with Chris, who formerly known as Reinhardt. It was one of the other Reapers. And he is a phenomenal sword fighter.
Okay.
He does like ambi most of the time, so he's got two swords, and he's dressed like a Catholic priest.
Amazing. Oh, I remember you telling me about this.
This is honestly, I have never seen. So Chris's new character, whose name I've forgotten. I'm really sorry, Chris. Goes into the Glory Square and gets faced off against another person who is wearing this incredibly intricate metal face mask.
Oh, amazing.
Like, it looks very intimidating. And they'd previously had a duel in the Reapers camp, and they were kind of having a bit of a rematch now. And it was insane to watch this. Like, it was so good.
Yeah. Just
to watch two people who are very highly skilled OC in various different swordsman things, and just teach. Like, Chris is amazing because he teaches you like he will beat you easily,
Yeah.
but he'll teach you whilst he's handing you your own ass on a platter.
Yeah.
Like it's insane, and I was just there, just watching it all in awe, whilst also stealing hats at the same time. And it was really fun, and it was a lovely way to spend the evening.
It was a long, wending journey to get to
Yeah.
find Isa. I'm assuming this is probably quite a ways after your encounter with her.
Yeah, I think because this was probably around. It was after the skirmish, probably around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, this is later than that. This is later than that by that point, I reckon.
Yeah.
Although, maybe not that much later. I think time gets very squishy at Empire. It probably was later than that. Anyway, we end up meeting up with them in Gin Club, and that's a really good time. I have a really good time.
I love Gin Club. I love it so much.
I've only been there once, so it was a long time ago that I went, and I kind of. I forgot how nice it was. Actually, I'm gonna have to go back.
It's lovely in there.
Yeah. I think it's I don't know. It's like I'd actually just forgotten. So yeah, that was really nice. Just went in there. We all hung out, and I obviously got the download of what was going on, and it was spicy. And this is the cool thing. Like Black Scar, like I think a lot of people view from the outside, like they're this monolith, and it's not actually like that at all. Like everyone is actually playing games, and a lot of these games are actually at odds with one another, because it's a Thornborn that's made up of multiple different small groups, and they'll often, work against each other for, like, if they go in a general's vote or something like that, there'll be different. Sometimes multiple people go for it, and all kinds of things. It's not like how people think it is sometimes from the outside. I think it's easy to think with these big groups, and this is true of a lot of big groups. I think from the outside you can often think, oh, they just all vote for each other, or they all are like this unified block. That is not the case.
They deliberately challenge each other, which is actually really refreshing to see.
There's a lot of internal conflict that goes on, and they also like to roleplay pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
Which is good. Like, that's kind of what I enjoy. But I think from the outside you can kind of walk in and think, oh, they're a bit scary. But the great thing with Black Scar is cheat code. If you're kind of, I actually won't say, like, engage with Black Scar. They're a really good time. Like, you should. They're really good people. And yeah, it was just it's fun seeing one of these moments though where it's like, oh, okay, this is really big. Like, this is like big beef, big stakes as well, because you get all the different levels of orbit that this is taking place, right? For me, for Talis, the thing he cares about is that, Farron and Rizar are both affected, and then in turn Isa and other people, like friends, are affected. But I've had this whole thing, I mean, look at our situation, right? Like, where I'm like, oh, like, loyalty. And, like, what are you loyal to? Like, what is the core? Like, is loyalty to the Empire, to the needs of the Empire, is that more important than loyalty to, like, an oath you made to a friend, right? Like, where are the things, like, and it's like, because I was actually thinking, and there'd been sort of invitation to a certain degree. Obviously, none of these things were ever sort of like set, but like to join Black Scar essentially, because I know them all OC, but also I see there are various ties and stuff there.
Yeah,
and it was really interesting to enter into this situation and throughout this whole process be like, oh, okay, like, where do I actually sit on this? Like, what is my thought process? Like, as Talis, like, I am the guy who, when the Reapers came up and asked if you did it, said you did it, right?
Yeah,
I am the guy who like said he did it when it was the mass retreat that got people killed, right? Like, that's the principles of the character that actually, like, there are things that are bigger, and that's how he views things. And these things, then it's like, if the group is about the loyalty bonds between the individuals, and not necessarily like it's like, oh, I don't want to be in a situation necessarily where I have to make an oath to you that I will break. Like there are conditions in which I will break this oath. And that made me, it was really interesting because it's like I love all these people and like OC and IC, and I was just like, interesting. I get to see the real Black Scar, and I get to see them like in a sense like pushed to the limits and be like, and where is Talis in this? And this transitions into Sunday a lot more, but it started there.
I'm really excited to see where this story goes next event.
Oh, it's so spicy.
I know. I am elbowing my way in there, my boy. I've already got a letter planned. So I need to design my in-character stationery.
You can have proper stationery.
Which sounds, oh God, honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do. I did it with Agni, where I made, like, you can buy letter writing stuff, like in-character letter writing stuff really easily on Amazon for a couple of quid. But I really like sending digital letters over Facebook, and I did a post about this on our Larp Noobs Facebook page about how you guys do IC mail and things like that. I personally like to create a little template and do, like letterhead stationery where you've got the name and someone's like house sigil or something. You have to be an aristocrat to get it. I don't have it. But Agni did because she was a scribe. And now Agni's gone. Claudia, my new character, is not somebody who has mud stained and slightly blood stained letters. So I need to. She's very clean.
Yeah, I like it.
So I need to sit down. I think that might be tomorrow's job actually. After I do this episode. But yeah, so I'm gonna do a little IC checkup on the strange little Navari that I found.
Interesting. Oh, that's great. That makes perfect sense as well. I love it. Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Even if I do not want to play a part in the story at all, but I do want to watch. I think it's gonna be interesting.
It's interesting being someone who cares a lot but is utterly powerless.
Yeah.
And I like that actually. Like I get to, and actually we'll get to it. Like again, soft power can, like the ability to say the right thing with role play in the right situation is like quite powerful. I had a great time. Like it's what an awesome piece of game to suddenly like find myself in. Like totally unexpected. I thought, to be honest with you, after everything with you, I thought, and that's it. Now it's just party time. Now it's just party time. Yeah. Empire E4 2024 party time. I'm drinking from coconut cups and blowing bubbles.
But it wasn't like that.
It was not like that. It was not like that at all. It was funerals back to back to back to back to back, and then it was like suddenly being whisked off to like political intrigue and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear about your Sunday actually, because I didn't see you at all on Sunday. So I'm excited to hear about it. I think that it'll be
interesting to hear what Bungle got up to as well.
I'm excited to hear about that. I hear it was quite a lot. So
interesting. Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, mainly shouting at low-hanging awnings. But yeah, as always, thank you so much to our Patreons.
We love you all.
You guys honestly, you're all phenomenal human beings. I've started saying it now. Hosting is not free.
No.
Podcasting is not free. But we don't monetize any of our content. So thank you so much for you guys to literally pay our way through. You guys are incredible. In particular, this week, thank you to our newest Patreon subscriber, Katie Harris, who somebody might know as a certain PR agent to the Star.
Katie, that's so good.
I know. Honestly, incredible human being and wonderful hoist.
Yes, dude. I heard that you guys got to meet properly at hoist and everything.
Oh, it was so good, so good.
Are you
wonderful?
You gonna do a hoist episode? I'm putting you on the spot right now.
No. I'm going to say no. Yeah. Hoist is my holiday larp.
I think that's a good idea.
I already so currently, dear listeners, I have 4 I think episodes of Oasis to edit. I have 2 episodes of Disco Elysium, which are going to come after our E4. Honestly, I cried hearing Dave talk about it, and I have spoken to James from the Fancy Nut podcast, who also went to there, and I cried. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into those episodes and get them released. Amazing. They're going to be the first episodes up after E4, so they'll go. And then, so I've got Oasis. Then I'm going to do a Curious Pastimes roundup, and a Bastion roundup, and maybe an Eldritch. I need to talk to Quartz about an Eldritch roundup. So this year, just because it's the long dark does not mean that the content will stop, dear listeners. Yeah, I mean, it is going to keep coming.
I just got back from Dragon Feast, or Dragon Hunt, sorry.
Yeah, which is we need to do our Dragon Hunt episode as well.
Yeah, I'm going to see if maybe me and Matty can sort it out. That'd be good fun. Greyjoy it up. It was a lot of fun. Because this is an interesting thing. I hadn't done, I mean, this is spoilers, but I hadn't done like a LARP where you play like a role. You know what I mean? Because I think you've maybe done a few, but I haven't, and I know Dave has, where you kind of take on these kind of roles.
Yeah, you apply for a role and you get given it, right?
I'd never done that before, so that was a very different experience.
I haven't done one of those. I'm so excited to learn about it. So yeah, so if you either you or Matty or all 3 of us get together, we could do all 3 if you want, and I could just be the weirdo in the corner.
You could never be the weirdo.
Always the weirdo, just not necessarily in the corner. Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be busy, and also I'm going to announce this now. Date is still a little bit floppy. Yeah. Mainly because I've discovered a scheduling mishap.
I'm probably involved in said scheduling mishap because I'm a disaster.
No, you're not. It's fine. But we're coming up to Christmas time, which is traditionally where we did, where Dave and you did the Christmas raffle for, yes, exactly, our charity raffle for Young Lives vs. Cancer. And I'm proud to announce that we are going to be doing it again, but in a very different format. So in previous years, the raffle opened until New Year's Eve, and then we did it on, the draw was on the 1st of January. This year, we're going to do it slightly different. The raffle's still going to be open for a long time, but we are going to do a 24-hour live stream.
Wowzers.
Which is going to hurt me. But yes, it's probably going to be at the end of November, start of December, somewhere in there. There'll be more details coming up. But lots of really exciting stuff. I'm going to get as many LARP creators on stream as possible. You'll have LARPs and TARPs. They're all very keen. And maybe a hefty Yeti, maybe some fancy nuts, definitely some noobs or 2. We'll do a big 24-hour stream, raise lots of money. I've got some giveaways for the stream, and then I've got some raffle prizes already building up. So thank you already to people who have donated. You guys are insanely generous. Yeah. Oh my God, I was blown away by the response to the post that I did. So thank you so much. And again, thanks to our Patreon. Thanks to Katie in specific for this week. Thanks to you all. Yeah. You're all wonderful people. Our little audience are incredible.
It's really awesome, isn't it, Millie?
It's really nice. It's so wholesome.
It's it's so nice that people actually care and listen to stuff. It's amazing. It blows me away. It absolutely blows me away.
It's the response to the episodes that we've done, so good. So thank you so much. Feel free to comment with a favorite episode. Why not? Let's do that. Yeah. Anybody who gets this far in the episode, tell us what your favorite episode, either so far or of all time, has been. I genuinely love to hear it because I actually really like going back and listening to old episodes. It's like a little journey, and journal entry as well, and hearing the little vaping puffs and drink drops.
Oh my gosh, yeah, some of the early ones.
So good. And leather sofa farting.
Oh, the leather farts is like amazing. That's it's the quality has much increased since having you on board.
The only thing that's changed. The only thing that's changed is microphones and location. That's about it. I still struggle with the thing with all of the software.
Dude, there's a reason Dave did everything. I was just the talent, and I'm using the biggest air quotes ever there. 'Cause let's be honest, that ain't the case.
We do not self-deprecate on the podcast, or else we get back in the basement.
Back in the basement.
Exactly.
Well.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me, Ian.
Oh, I love it, dude. It's really good. It's fun being back, and like talking about E4 is just a real treat. Like it was like rounding out the year. There's something that it is to go through E4 and just get it all your thoughts compiled. So
yeah, it was a big one.
It was a big one.
And we'll do Sunday, and then that'll be us until E1. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think
big.
If I say strength to the Empire,
I might say strength to Navarre.